Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the show. And we were able to start it after just 1 minute of being late a bit. Anyway, so let's start. Today we're going to talk about, at least according to my little list, that the falling of Budapest. Yes, breaking news! Obviously, I mean, this is what you're waiting for. This is the closest thing you can got a real view on the news of Budapest. Well, that was quite good, wasn't it? Oh, I'm getting a hang of it. Anyway, so and then of course I'm going to talk about that I'm very tired of bad news, and not being not being complaining. It's just philosophically I'm tired of getting bad news, because who wouldn't be? You start to get bad news once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. After the 100th times, or the 100th time to be grammatically precise, I think you too would be tired. And then many more things. So let's start. First of all, let me talk about one particular web page that is very popular, of a news portal in Budapest. I don't know if in English, because I haven't done any research, I don't know if portal, I think portal means the same thing. I don't mean the game, obviously. So not Portal the game, you know, when you shoot a portal to a wall and to another wall and you can go through. No, that's not it at all. No. We are going to talk about a news portal like, I don't know, CNN.com, just a bit smaller. So let's do it. This is the web page, and there is no picture because I need to resume. Oh, there we go. And now it's this is the whole web page. Obviously I had to magnify it a little for you to be able to read it, and you could barely read it if I can see it correctly. But anyway, let's not get very complaining about this. Just read the freaking thing. Now, here in this web page, this is supposed to be a party independent, politically independent news portal, which means that they are the only ones who are attacking politicians and everyone, you know, like the press supposed to, very aggressively, if I hadn't said already the aggressive thing I mean. So in this case, if you are able to read Hungarian just a bit, you can have a lot of fun with this web page. This page has many sections, obviously. You know, like in the country news, outside the country news, economy, technology, science, culture, sport, and many other things. These are opinions. What I really find very interesting about this site is if you just scroll right a bit, you can find blogs. Now, since blogs have gained some popularity, it was kind of obvious, kind of an obvious choice to include them in a major journalistic website. So there you have them. And so, to me, this is quite independent, because I can have many opinions. You know, I can see many opinions, because there are different types of blogs, obviously, and I don't exclude blogs who are right wings and left wings, and, you know, whatever. Sometimes there is a blog about knitting, for example. So there is not always just political thing, but obviously the main section here is mostly about politics. Now, since, and let me just go back to me for a bit. So let me express this. Since basically television newscasts consist normally about who killed who, and because they are not independent from the government, and they depend on them very heavily because they get the money from the government, or even if they don't get the money from the government because they are independent television stations, they are afraid of the government. And I don't mean like a socialist way, where you had to fear the party. No, because if they do something that is against the will of the party, then basically they got some kind of penalty, like no, they can't do shows for 24 hours or so. And these could be huge penalties because they get their money mainly from advertising. So since they just want to be very, very polite about all of this and don't get involved or just saying good things about the government just to be on the safe side, then naturally the only thing that I can trust is the internet, because they can't censor the internet as well as they can do that with newspapers. And because having a portal like index.hu, which is kind of a huge portal and they need money, but it's not very expensive to maintain a site like this compared to like a television program or a newspaper. And they got, because they have many viewers, they can also use the money from the advertising, so they can employ a couple of journalists, and they can travel. They do. It's very interesting, and you won't enjoy it because you are not your Hungarian is not very perfect, but they do a parliament sort of YouTube show, not on YouTube but on index.hu, with their own video sharing technology. So on the web page you can see videos basically from the parliament, about the parliament, which is quite interesting, at least to me, because you can watch things about the parliament. You can watch newscasts or reports from the government, but and from the parliament, but they are not that funny. And these two guys are really, really funny, and they because they are quite independent and depend less heavily on on the government liking, then they can use stronger language. Now, there is a difference between press in Hungary and press in, for example, in America. They both get manipulated by the government, I think, but here, traditionally, they are not that strong. So, for example, there are no investigative journalists, if that's the word at all. I won't research it right now because I would just, delay the inevitable. So let's call them investigative journalists. And then, so, they can uncover, very juicy secrets and scandals, and they don't do this in Hungary because basically what the government does, just a news flash, a former Prime Minister of Hungary, Gyurcsány Ferenc, if you ever heard of him, Gyurcsány Ferenc, the former prime minister, had or held a hunger strike, which is supposed to be, I think, a quite heavy thing, for a week. Literally, he didn't eat, and the government didn't really care about this. So I don't know. I have this strange feeling about our government that even if you get yourself to the parliament and set yourself on fire, they wouldn't really care, because it's not tradition in Hungary to to care about these things. It doesn't mean we are savages. It just means that we are different people. So strong press doesn't really apply to this country. So, if you ever want to, just find some very interesting news in Hungarian, unfortunately there is no English version to my knowledge. I never found the link. So, but you can try it and enjoy it a bit. Obviously, we can have some boulevard stuff, and we can have car news and economical news and stuff. So as you can see, we have a lot of things. So I think that's about it. I want to just stall the time with going over these headlines, because they are not very relevant. But well, let's not do this. Still, if you can read about this or just want to visit the site, you're welcome to do it. They don't pay me, so that should be a genuine suggestion from my side. Right, so let's take this second one. So I'm getting tired of bad news. Not just me, many other people in the country. Why? Well, it is quite obvious, I think. It's because there are only bad news. It's not like that, okay, so salaries are going down by 20% at the end of the month for teachers, and this is the real news, yes, teachers. And education is, it's in its all-time low. And yeah, there is no relief. And last week on Friday, our financial minister Matolcsy thought it would be a great idea to tell us that, well, even though there were restrictions in the country, there were new taxes, and it's still not enough, and we have to do more. So there are going to be more taxes. Supposedly, they do not tax the people. They tax bigger corporations, bigger banks, and etc. But come on, I mean, we're not stupid. At least I think I'm not stupid. So that means when I say that, yeah, but every company has its clients, which are the people, including me, and not you, because you're probably not Hungarian. But if you're Hungarian watching this, that's you. It means you. So yeah, I mean, I think it's very obvious to think about this that way. That I just explained. Because ultimately it all goes down to us, the people, the citizens of Hungary. I don't know any more synonyms for citizens, so, but it would be hell of a fun if I knew, right? Because I can, just anyway. So no good news. I can't really think that that there are going to be good news till the end of the year and next year, because even though our government is very optimistic, they get it wrong all the time. and I mean, time after another, they say that, okay, well, maybe at the end of the year there will be a 1% growth of the GDP, the economy of our country, the little Hungary. And well, now they say that well, no, and next year, no. So basically it's like this in my head. I have this favorite show called Little Britain, and there is this woman, a secretary in it, and she always turns to the computer whenever she's asked a question and says, computer says no. You see, to me it's like this. Whenever Orbán Viktor says something, or Matolcsy, the financial minister, asks something that, or says something that, well, okay, so there is going to be a 1% growth in the economy. There isn't going to be any new restriction and new taxes and stuff, and someone turns to the computer that computer says no. And that's about it. Thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying the show. Now it's in its 16th minutes, almost 17. Wow, this is fantastic. It's still recording, which is awesome. Anyway, so number 3. I should have some kind of transitions for these, shouldn't I? I mean, this is a very low budget show, and I can do all kinds of things with computers, but I just sit down because I have 2 hours, and then I can research something in half an hour and then do the show, and then after that I can relax a bit and then keep on working. So this is my life, very interesting, and I don't mean to complain. I love it. I just have very little time. Anyway, maybe next time I will have time to do some transitions. They should be awesome. I mean, yeah. Anyway, so number 3, YouTube finally arrived, and I don't mean that YouTube hasn't been in Hungary, because obviously you're watching this on YouTube. That would be silly to think that there is no YouTube in Hungary, but YouTube finally pays. Yes, and I don't know, this may come as a shock to you if you are sitting in America, for example, but there hasn't been any payments and monetizing in YouTube. So, for example, I have a couple of channels. I made them in the couple of last couple of years. I think I should be over 1 million views if I count every channel, and I should have gotten a couple of bucks, but I never did, and I can't now because I have to start from scratch. And the thing is that I'm not angry or something. It's just we always get things a little late. So I seen YouTubers on YouTube and doing very good shows, and I thought to myself, oh, they must have some money, and free time to do these shows, and there's production quality. And then I realized after a while that no, I mean, if you got 50,000 views on your video, you can have a couple of bucks, maybe 100, maybe more. And then, oh my god, I thought, then why wouldn't I'm able, why shouldn't I have these? And then obviously, because it's very complicated to come to Hungary if you're a business, because we have many restrictions. For example, I never realized this until my accountant told me that whenever someone works abroad, she always has a hard time collecting the payment data, because they just write a piece of paper like this and sign it that, okay, well, that's your salary. I mean on paper, and then that should be okay because it all has the necessary data and the signature. But no, it's not enough in Hungary. For example, if you want to invoice you, I can, but it's really complicated, but I can. If I want to, I have a special software for that. And I had to buy the software, and I had to run it through my accountant because she must know what's going on, obviously. And I can't just write a piece of paper like PayPal, which I think I'm going to be able to set up. So you can you can pay me, yeah. Sorry. So so I think I'm able to set up a PayPal, but it's very hard and very complicated, and it's quite risky because then, for example, a month after, then there could be a penalty check that, hey, you're using PayPal and you didn't send your data into this and that ministry or something. So no one knows much about this. Anyway, PayPal offers an invoicing thingy, which I can use, but it's unofficial. It may be official to you. So, for example, I could send you an invoice, and I can bill you, and your IRA in America, or somebody in the EU could say that, yeah, okay, that's okay, that's enough. But still, I have to write the proper invoice in Hungarian for the Hungarian authorities, and then I'm obligated to send it to you so you can have many invoices with just one transaction, I think, in my world. So it's unnecessarily complicated, by the way, and don't get me wrong when I say it's unnecessarily complicated, and I don't emphasize it. Anyway, so YouTube finally arrived. And in this channel, what I'm using, I only have a couple of views, maybe a couple of thousand, but I don't think I ever got I'm gonna be paid. It's just nice to know that finally YouTube was able to come here into the country, and I'm really proud of YouTube for doing this. Anyway, fourth, about Budapest. I have very nice videos about Budapest. I took the videos some of them a couple of years ago, some of them, well, not yesterday, but a couple of months ago. And let me just show you some of the videos because they are really So let me just talk while you are watching the video. So this is an underpath, as you can see from the graffiti. It's quite a popular one, and as we are going down, you can see the underpath, and people they didn't look at me, so I mean they don't really care usually. Now, if you at the end of this tunnel, let's call it a tunnel, there is the West End mall, which is quite, and that's it about it. Wait a minute, now you can hear me. So soon, I think that there you go. If you are looking at the top of the video, you might be able to see, but now, not now, not anymore, the Budapest Nyugati text. And there you go, this is the entrance to the West End Mall, and I think this video will end soon. This could be quite familiar, I think. Now, on to something else. So this is Budapest houses. I mean flats. they are not very close, but in this part of the city they are doing quite well because it is the inner city and everything's clean, can't complain. So let's move on. Now, thing is that sometimes there are sort of fun fairs or things, whatever they are called, in Hungary, and usually they are around Hősök tere if they are in Budapest. For example, a little thing called Nemzeti Vágta, which is basically a national horse race, a sort of celebrity style horse race. And then you know, you can watch them. It's a day, preferably a Saturday during the summer every year, and it could be fun if you are into that stuff, but there you go, now you can hear me again. I really have to be more professional about this, but this is a new software, I have to tell you, this Ustream producer, and I need to get used to it. Anyway, so like I said, if you're into that stuff, then there you go, you can enjoy it. If you're not, well, then, well. Okay, the Western Terminus station in the country. This is so awesome. Because, well, because it is. It's a big train terminal. It's awesome. If you like trains, you can have a hell of a time. It's fantastic. If you don't like trains, then you can still find some homeless people lurking around and people, you know, trying to get to other places. It's always busy. Sometimes I walk through it because West End is, if you continue on the left side and at the entrance you can see the end of that the terminal building, then on the left you can find the West End Mall I was talking about with the underpath, which we took a look at the beginning, and you can find more rails because it has the 30-something rails, I think, you know, tracks. Right, Budapest at night. Well, Budapest at night is not necessarily black and white, but I shot it in black and white because I didn't have my good camera with me. I only had some you know, with not so good picture quality. Still, it's awesome, and I really like Budapest at night because you know, to be honest, there are not that many cars. Everything is dark, and you know, to me every city is especially Budapest is the most beautiful at night, because then you can't see the little details you are, you know, that reminds you. And maybe, you know, there are some dog shit on the street or something, or maybe homeless people, or you know, anything that, you know, might remind you that this is a living city. This is not, you know, the perfect place. But at night, it's fantastic. Especially, you know, I love driving, and I love driving in Budapest at night. It's just, I mean, to me, it's fantastic. And I love driving everywhere, obviously, and one of them is Budapest at night. I mean, very little traffic. Maybe, you know, somebody from the disco, some young people trying not to crash into other cars and into trees and walls. But other than that, it's just beautiful and so peaceful. I love it. That is my personal opinion, obviously, but I just love it. If you ever come to Budapest, with us, as guides, or just alone. You must find, I think you just simply must find a night. If you have a car, if you can rent a car, or just walk around, but cars are better at night in the city. It just some kind of round trip in the city, not in the suburbs, because the suburbs are quite boring at night, but the city is beautiful, especially with the bridges and the castle. And if you can go up to the Gellert mountain, which the Gellert mountain is well, this where I shot this little thing, you can have this view, and this is much more beautiful, with your own eyes. But obviously. Alright, so we've had these. Now we can talk about, I don't like to talk about politics, but I can talk about politicians. Our financial minister is quite an interesting people. Some say that he is a genius because he has this unorthodox thing, but he's always wrong. So therefore some people say that he's a complete idiot. Absolutely. Among those people, there I am, thinking that whatever he says is either he's too optimistic, seems naive to me, or simply wrong, which, I have this suspicion that he might be lying. I don't know, but he might. Anyway, so let's talk about Matolcsy György. As you can see, this is a Hungarian Wikipedia page. I think there are some English Wikipedia pages about, famous Hungarians, but I like to use the Hungarian ones, especially because I'm Hungarian, I can understand it. And then, if you can or want to learn some Hungarian, you can practice with it. It's awesome for practice. And obviously, I just, a reminder. I know I don't seem to teach Hungarian anymore, but if you have any questions, just ask, because obviously you can ask, especially with these materials, because they're quite interesting. So I won't tell you the whole story, just the headlines. So he was born in 55, July 18th. He is an economist, and he published some books, but that's down below. And basically, he was the head of these research centers researching privatizing industry, because in socialism basically everything was owned by the government, and then there was the change in the system, and then everyone was like, okay, well, what about the companies? In a capitalistic system, a company should be owned by the owners of the company, and which is not the country itself. And they privatize these companies. Now the problem is, if you want to know the whole story, that they privatize the companies and they close them, most of them. So basically we have no industry left, because privatizing a company was cool at that time. Literally, it was very hip, because if you knew somebody, you could buy the company for very little money, or just get it, claim it, so to speak, and then you could sell it, send everyone home, demote the equipment, and that's about it. You now have a lot of money. And basically most Hungarians are very, very angry about this. Well, quite obviously, might I add. And then rich people in Hungary are quite hated, because there is this suspicion or thought that if you are rich, well, you got your fortune at that 1990 when there was this change. So yeah. Anyway, if he participated in this, I don't know, and frankly I don't care. However, he was economical minister from 2000 to 2002, so this is not his first term in the government, but well, basically he is now the financial minister, so it's a step forward for him. Okay, so he was a member of parliament from 2006, and now from 2010 he is the second Orban government financial minister. So, according to Wikipedia, from 73, in 73 he graduated from the Szilágyi Erzsébet High School, and then he got into the Marx Károly Közgazdaságtudományi Egyetem. It's an economical university, on industry major, if it says anything about him. And in 1977 he graduated, 81 he got his PhD, and then he got to work in ministries. And then most of these works are very close to the government sector. So there you go. And but that's about it, I think. I know you can research him if you want, but I don't want to spend more time on him. And then basically got into politics from 1990, which is obvious, and then was very close to Orbán Viktor, because in 1999, right after the 1998 elections, when Orbán Viktor and his party won, he was sort of advisor for Orbán Viktor. And they say that Orbán Viktor and Matolcsy György are quite close, sort of friends, and then Orbán Viktor, trusts him, and then that's why he has sort of free will about things. So this is him. So whenever you hear the name Matolcsy György, whatever you think of him, you can think of these things. So I think that's it. And then let's not talk about his personal life. But I mentioned his books because he's a publicist, and he published 5 books in 1991. Basically, the title can be translated to the healing process of sort, the years of the healing. And then it's shock, literally in English, shock. And then because of shock, it could mean many with 1 K. So imagine this word means many in Hungarian. This could be a very clever title in 1998, that many or shock or very little, you see. And then Living Memories in 2003, An American Empire in 2004, and from the leading horse to or the best horse becomes the the leading horse in the race or something. This is in 2008. And as you can see, I didn't read any of his books, so I would be foolish to make statements about him, you know. So I don't want to say any good or bad things about him, just wanted to tell you who he is. And then later on we can, if I don't think, and I can't remember if I did this about Orbán Viktor, but you know, if there are any questions about him, I can answer them, you know, happily. Right, so let's go on with the last part of the show. I don't think this will be 60 minutes again, but you know, we're getting there with small steps. So let's talk about the last show. Yeah, that is me looking at the monitor, and I've got at the creation of this video 52 views, and I didn't expect it. This is awesome. I know it doesn't seem much to you because it's not 5 million like Ray William Johnson could, you know, do if you know him. I don't mean to advertise him, but you can, you know, you can find him. There you go. It's Ray William Johnson with an H in his name, so you know, it's easy to find him. But let's talk about something else. Comments. And I would like to read them to you because you can't see them, obviously. I try to there you go. I think now you are able to, you might be able to, maybe if it's a little bit bigger. There you go. Now you will able to watch them properly. So this is my comment, which is not very interesting, but this is, well, he commented it, ckg something something, which I am ashamed that I can pronounce the name. But I'm not good with that, you know, with little hats on the Z's and stuff. So I will call him Mr. KG. And now we only need a B, and that could be KGB. Anyway, let's think about something else. So this I think that this is going from upside down. So in Italy we also have this kind of wrong ways to get a job, and this refers to my original comment in the video, which stated that in Hungary you can get jobs by knowing people, and you can only get jobs by knowing people. I mean, literally, in Hungary, if I know somebody, then I can have that particular job, and if I don't know anybody in the firm, then it doesn't really matter. So there are very few people who can, you know, sort of get jobs by interviews. So you always have a friend or something. And he wrote that in Italy they also have this. I mean, it's not wrong by itself, maybe in some cases, but it is not right if just because you are a friend of someone, you steal a job from someone who is more appropriate, better than you for that job. This is what most of times happens in Italy, unfortunately. And yes, it happens. This happens in Hungary, quite obviously. And the problem with this is that we are not so efficient as a country if we do this. So if we just rely solely on getting employees by, you know, through friends, then or being employed through friends, then yeah, it makes it quite hard. Because I know that for example, I have a business, and as a business I get jobs and projects by knowing people. So I know some of you who are probably watching, I think, and then we conducted some kind of business, and then okay, that's normal because that's my life. But if I got a permanent job because of some of you, I mean, that might be a bit cheating. If I'm a computer genius, which I am, and I'm also very polite and very talented, and sorry, and my throat hurts for some reason, and then, you know, I'm very modest. Yes, I know, it's hard to believe. But and then you can, you know, you get me in theory an IT job, and that's okay, right? Fantastic, because the company is happy, you're happy, I'm happy, and everyone's happy. That's fantastic. But if you get me a gardening job, now I'm not good at gardening. I speak 2 languages at least, and I can't tell the difference between plants and the names of plants in any of these languages. So I'm not much of a gardener. I like them, you know, from a distance. That, oh right, this is a very nice garden. Right, you're welcome. I like to compliment people. And that's it, obviously. So, let's get back to that other comment. So plus, also, Italy is becoming older and older. The younger people are foreigners living here, and also young people want to work and can't, and old people want to end work on pension, and they cannot if they don't want to lose a big percentage of the pension. Oh yes, yes, this is a problem for my parents and, you know, the generations of our parents of, you know, 20-something-year-olds. Maybe 30-year-olds, because we want work. You know, I have work, but I know some people who are over 50, way below the pension line, and or you know, the pension age, and then they can't get a job, and they are struggling because they, you know, they need jobs, because their pension would be very, very low if they and they can't even go on a pension because there is a limit in Hungary. In Hungary, if you are under 67, I think, then you can't have a pension. And because we have only governmental pension, not any, you know, private, you know, savings account, because it's forbidden now. And then there you go. I mean, there is this struggle. I mean, you're unemployed, and that's it. And corporations don't want to employ you because now you are, you know, a bit old and frankly overqualified, because now you have a lot of experience, and with that experience you can't do just any job anymore, because you should be used for many, you know, for thinking, because of your experience. Because if I'm 20 years old, just out of school, maybe 25, just out of university, even if I got a PhD and I'm 26, 27, I have literally no experience in the working world. And if you worked for, I don't know, 30 years, 40 years now, and you're not even a PhD, doesn't matter, you're still going to be better than me. And I think it should be quite obvious. Anyway, so this was about the comment, and I'm very grateful for every comment I get, and I'm also grateful for the likes, because I don't really get dislikes, which is awesome. I know that 2 likes are not many, and this is not me and not my friends. So in my case, for some reason I don't want to, you know, get my friends to like all the things I like my things and stuff, because I think it's not very polite. I am friends with them. They are not my employees. They are not my fans, so to speak, of distant friends, as I want to think of you in that other country. So these 2 likes are pure likes. I know, that's awesome. So and I really get, sorry, and I don't really get dislikes, which could mean that nobody cares about me, or it could mean that maybe just everybody likes me. Who knows? Anyway, so be sure to subscribe here if you can find this, because then you are able to get all the things, new videos and stuff that you can, if you subscribe this, and there you go. I mean, sorry, you just hover the mouse for some time, and then you can check that you can have also email updates for any new uploads. So that's fantastic. I mean, to me, I have some subscriptions with email stuff, and then I don't have to, basically I don't have to go onto YouTube and do stuff, find out about things. I just get an email that somebody has uploaded a video, and that's just cool. Anyway, thank you very much again for watching, and here we go. I want to show you all the contact things. I know that I usually write these things in the somewhere in the video, but if you really want to send me emails, then you can send them to hungarianproject@gmail.com. And I wanted to make a company account for this, like something .kovacsfilm.hu or ckg.hu, but I never did, because now everyone knows this, and whenever somebody writes to me, they use this Gmail stuff, and they don't really care about this. So it's still Hungarian Project. And then if you want to add me on Skype because of some business or something, or you just want to talk, you can do it as I'm Chris from Hungary, and you don't even have to write me stuff. I don't really get many people contacting me, so I will probably know. And I always asked about, oh right, so who are you, what would you like to do now, you see. So, and the last, this is a web page in beta version. This is my new web page, ckg.hu, which is again ck and age. It's very short, and then basically you can visit this. And most importantly, I know it's really sucks to ask for money, but I could achieve I could do more research if basically what I think is that I have my idea of getting some money at a week, during a week. And if if a donation could substitute some of this money, then basically, I don't want to be a millionaire out of this. It would really help, but that's about it. If you don't want to donate, don't worry about it a thing. Just don't worry about it. Keep watching and ask questions, because I don't I don't hate you because you don't donate. But if you want to, that's nice. And also you can contact me about any Hungarian business, learning Hungarian, translating stuff, or maybe finding relatives, or finding something in Hungary, an old shop or something like that. Basically these are the things we usually do business in. these are the topics, and quite popular. I mean, to my little world, everything is quite popular, because basically, whenever someone contacts me from America or Australia or Germany or whatever, it's always awesome to me. I think I'm old enough to appreciate these things, because young people, they can have all sorts of contacts in everywhere, and they were born into this. But when I was born, uh, around the house I was growing up, there were dirt roads, not asphalt or things, and no internet, no phone, nothing. And I remember this era, and whenever someone, has a conversation with me, whenever you decide to have a conversation, it's always awesome, because you are somebody from a distant world. And when I was growing up during the socialism, the end of the socialism, I didn't dream of, I couldn't dream of this. I mean, even my parents couldn't think of this as a possibility, that later on I could have, friends from overseas and stuff. So anyway, this was just a big thank you, and I'm really enjoying doing these, and I try to find as much time as I can do. And basically, if you want to, help with anything, send me stuff or whatever, then my door is always open to you. I always wanted to say that. Anyway, and now we have almost an hour, 56 minutes. Oh my god, if you ever watch this in the archives, well, congratulations to you, sir or madam. You are awesome, because that's 56 freaking minutes. And I know that in these, in the capitalist world, there is very little time for these things. Anyway, I think I'm off now. Thank you very much. No one is here, and no one has been. I'm not complaining. So that's because I don't want, don't have to be here till 8:30 p.m. So no, 7 p.m. So there you go. But I will be here next week at the same time. Thank you very much for watching.